today's video we'll be looking at some of the other settings that have not already been covered in our video series, such as users, mail, relay, and network settings. That's pretty much it, so without much hesitation, let's get started. So starting off, you're going to be brought to the settings page, and you're going to see backups on top all the way down to users. We're just going to go over each of these quickly to kind of give you an idea of how to set them up. So starting off, we have backups. We already made a video on this that's a little bit more in depth. So if you wish to check backups out and see what all of these features are all about, please check our backups video. Next, we have certifications. This is where you can put in your own SSL certificate. That way you can no longer see this anymore. This will actually go away. This isn't required. This is just for peace of mind. You don't have to worry about, this machine going rogue. It's just more there if you wish to have an SSL cert on this machine. All you have to do is go to import up here and then put in the certificate and the private key if it comes with one. Next we have dashboards. We've already made a video before about dashboards titled Dashboards itself. So if you wish to check out our dashboards and figure out how to use this page and what it corresponds to, please check out our dashboards video. Inputs is pretty much the same exact way, same thing. We already made a video on inputs, so if you wish to learn more about inputs, please check out our inputs video. Next, we have license. The license page is pretty much, as it says, just a license page. It tells you what your box's customer name is, ID, product, date active, and the date it expires. If you see a status cannot validate license, that just means either our license server is down or, as happens quite often, a token broke. If you have issues with this and you wish to make sure that there's no new updates, you can always contact support at support@NeQterLabs.com and we can quickly reset that for you. Next is our log tuner. This is where we actually can tune out logs. So let's say we're getting a lot of metrics logs that we don't really want. So I don't really want audit ID result logs that contain this kind of thing. So let's say I don't want something that's under the ID of 203. We can save, and now if we receive any logs from a Windows agent with a audit ID result of 203, we'll just throw it right out. It will not even it won't enter our logs under Discover Dashboards. So this is a really good tool if you wish to filter out certain logs before they hit the box at all. However, it should be noted that this is exact case, so you can't have, well, if it has this, or it has this and this, it can't really do that. It has to be exact. So it can't just be, let's say, for example, let's say 203 was part of a code of C, 203, and we only want this. Nope, you're going to have to get this entire string, and even if the rest of it's fine, but this is not fine. It's one of those things where it can be helpful, but there's limitations to it. Next, we have the mail settings system. This is where you can actually set up your mail relay server if you have one. So let's say we're running on a Office 365. We can have this sending through here. All we need is a username and password, and that will be it. The one thing that should be noted, however, is if you do use a mail relay server, you want to make sure that the actual from address matches the from address being used for the mail relay. So instead of it being noReply@NeQterLabs.com, let's say we had a username, let's say we had it going through a username of jv@NeQterLabs.com. We would want that username being used for up here as well, just because it's going through there. And you just want to make sure that these are matching these. That is all. Next, we have network settings. We actually already partially set these up. This is actually the network settings we set up on our first video. You can change these if you plan on moving it to a different network. That way you don't have to go into the actual backlog in order to do it. So you don't have to connect the monitor, don't have to connect the keyboard, don't have to console in, nothing like that. All you can do is you can go over to these settings and change them quick. Obviously, if you do change these settings and save it, this will change up here. So if you're changing the settings, just keep that in mind. Once you do, you might have trouble connecting unless you're on the right, IP address again for the connection. You can also change the domain name if you wish. Usually leaving it as it is fine, but some people like to have it on a specific domain. That's fine too. Next, we have support. Hey, that's me. So what the support page has is some useful information that you can use to get more help. For example, we have the documentation site here. The documentation site is basically where you can kind of get a user manual of sorts, as well as an initial setup guide in order to help you both set up your system as well as just explore it more. This has a lot of useful information that can be used to help you along with keeping up with NIST compliancy and can give some helpful tips as well as tricks that might be able to help you get through it all. We also have support at NeQterLabs.com here. This is our support site. You can create tickets through this site as well as a few other things, as you can see. You can also contact us directly at support@NeQterLabs.com. Next, we have time. This just sets up your actual time that the box uses. It currently goes off of for now, it uses an NTP server pointing towards the time.nist.gov address. We highly suggest you do not touch this since this is required for NIST compliance. If you were to set up the time to be different, then you would actually be technically not NIST compliant. So please, we suggest highly you do not touch this page, basically, unless you have a specific reason to do so. Next, you have updates. This is where you're able to get new updates. So usually what would happen is you'll have this page just saying all of your updates are good, or it will say the latest version is this. You can update here or schedule it. Or in some cases, you'll also get this message, which basically just means that something went wrong with your actual your license. What usually happens for this is the license token broke again, and it just needs to be set. The only time you really need to worry about this is if you get an email sent to you via NeQter saying, hey, the latest updates came out. You should update to the latest version. If you get something like that, then I highly suggest going to this page. And if you're seeing this, then obviously contact us and we can quickly reset that for you. Last but not least, we have users. This is where we're able to create new user accounts as well as edit old ones. So to create a new user, you can go up here, type in the name of the user that you want. You can name it anything. So let's say I want to name it Tess with an email of tess@nectar.local for this instance. We can give it then a password. You have to make sure it has one unique special character, capital letter at least once, and it has to be 8 characters long. And then you can select what kind of user it is. So for example, if you just use this, we can actually give it types of tabs it can be able to see. So if you leave it blank like this, all it can see is the Discover and Dashboards tab. If you give it events, then we can see events created by those. Inventory shows inventory. Network monitoring shows network monitoring. And vulnerability scanner lets them look at the vulnerability scanner and edit different things in there. Click add. And we have a new user. Let's say I go back here and I want to make him instead an auditor. You will see all auditing information it will need, like compliance and these two tools up here. Or if you're an administrator, then you can see only administrator access. So basically, administrator is pretty much everything. It's what the administrator account already has of admin, but other people, let's say you want to add, if you want to kind of create a hierarchy or something like that and want to have users have certain permissions but not others, then obviously you can give it an administrator account instead. And you just edit users from this page here. And then what we can do is, let's say we go to log out. Give it a minute. We can use the new user that we just created to access the router. NeQter Labs, nectar.local at and now we can get into our device. with our new administrator account. As you can see, we can see a little bit of everything. All you have to do is accept the end user license when you create a new account is all. And you're ready to go. And with that said and done, that concludes our tour of the settings page as well as our initial setup video series. If you have any questions not addressed by this video or previous videos, please contact us at support@NeQterLabs.com or check out our online documentation as shown earlier in the same video. I hope you found this video series informative, and we at NeQter can't wait to see you put our NeQter box to good use.